Class 7 Social Studies. Happy day, students. Today we are going to learn a new chapter from Social and Political Life. Chapter number 3, name of the chapter is How State Government Works. The topics to be covered in this video are whose responsibility, who is an MLA. In this chapter, we are going to understand how the government works at three levels: local, state, and national. Also, we are going to understand the work of the government at the state level. How does this take place in a democracy? What is the role of a member of the Legislative Assembly or the MLA and ministers? How do people express their views or demand action from government? In this scene, in the slide, you can see a script story where two girls discussing about the news that they had just read from the newspaper. The news is all about people of a particular village named Patalapuram being affected by diarrhea due to consumption of unclean water. It is also mentioned that village people are supplied with water only once in 3 days. Here in the slide, the story continues where one of the two girls is being little disturbed on reading the news about Patalapuram, and one of the girl also talks about her mother's advice to avoid the outside food. When they were cycling on their way back home, suddenly they were stopped by the police and were asked to take another route because the opposition party had garrowed the MLA's residence. Here, the word garrowed means to block one's way until favors, demands, questions are answered. You may be familiar with some official names such as collector, medical officer, etc. But have you heard of an MLA and the Legislative Assembly? Do you know the MLA of your area? Can you identify which party he or she belongs to? Members of the Legislative Assembly are elected by the people. They then become members of the Legislative Assembly and also form the government. In this way, we say that the MLAs represent the people. The example will help us understand better. Every state in India has a legislative assembly. Each state is divided into different areas or constituencies. For example, the state of Himachal Pradesh is divided into 68 assembly constituencies. From each constituency, the people elect one representative who then becomes a member of the legislative assembly. You would have noticed that people stand for elections in the name of different parties. These MLAs therefore belong to different political parties. How do people who are MLAs become ministers or chief minister? A political party whose MLAs have won more than half the number of constituencies in a state can be said to be in a majority. The political party that has the majority is called the ruling party, and all other members are called the opposition. For example, the Legislative Assembly of the state of Himachal Pradesh has 68 MLA constituencies. This slide shows the election held in the state of Himachal Pradesh during 2017. Candidates from various political parties won the 2017 assembly elections and became MLAs. Since the total number of MLAs in the Legislative Assembly is 68, a political party would have needed to have more than 34 MLAs in order to gain a majority. The Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) with 44 MLAs had the majority and it became the ruling party. All other MLAs became the opposition. In this case, the Indian National Congress (INC) was the major opposition party since it had the largest number of MLAs after the BJP. Among the opposition were other parties including those who had been elected as independent candidates. After the elections. After the elections, the MLAs belonging to the ruling party will elect their leader who will become the chief minister. In this case, the BJP MLAs chose Shri Jairam Thakur as their leader and he became the chief minister. The chief minister then selects other people as ministers. After the elections, it is the governor of the state who appoints the chief minister and other ministers. The chief minister and other ministers have the responsibility of running various government departments or ministries. They have separate offices. A legislative assembly is a place where all the MLAs, whether from ruling party or from opposition, meet to discuss various things. Hence, some MLAs have dual responsibilities, one as an MLA and other as a minister. So this is the end of part 1 video, children. Moving forward, we shall discuss the other topics of the chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day.